Hey everybody, today I'm going to be talking about Logan Paul's Pokemon box break and NFTs. Are NFTs worthy of an investment or are they just a big scam? So, first off, hope you guys enjoyed Logan Paul's box breaks if you did watch it. If you're not familiar, he spent $2 million on the first ever print run of Pokemon cards sealed in boxes, and he broke open the first box on a live stream. Along the way, every card he opened was reserved to someone who had prepaid in advance through auction. Each pack sold for around $40,000, and so he made a hefty chunk just by buying the box and opening them. And that's largely due to his brand presence and his ability to put on this live event. Now, um, I watched it. It was very interesting. Um, you know, I know there's a lot of controversy behind him. Some of my friends do not like him because of the controversy uh, in his past. I heard that he did something disrespectful in Japan when he was there, but from what I can tell, it was a situation where he was very young, immature, and since he had such a large following, it just kind of blew up. Regardless, that's neither here nor there. I want to talk about NFTs and whether they're actually worth it or not, or are they a big scam, the next Ponzi scheme. So if you don't know what NFTs are, everyone, uh, a lot of uh, business entrepreneurs, people in the crypto sphere, like all these people who are like very like into like speculating or uh, all that type of stuff. Even people in the Pokemon card collecting world, they've been talking about NFTs, which stand for non-fungible tokens. Basically, from my research, it seems like an NFT is basically a uh, way where you can prove that you own something, digital or physical, that can't be counterfeited or hacked or tricked in the system. So if the Mona Lisa had an NFT, then it's couldn't have really been stolen and so forth without that credible, authentic tag with it. I mean, sure they could have still taken the physical painting, but their ownership couldn't be verified due to blockchain technology. Basically, apparently everything gets logged into blockchain. So basically, that what that means is um, if someone takes something or transfers something or withdraws money or adds money, that gets logged to every person involved and every user involved. So each time that happens again, all the history of any transaction is displayed for every user in the network. So, it would be impossible to fake unless you hacked every single user in the network and somehow changed it for all of them. So apparently this blockchain technology makes it very unfakeable. Like if you own it, it's proven and there's no way of denying that. So apparently, long story short, along with the cards, he also sold his first ever NFTs. And these were digital artwork. Apparently, a lot of the NFTs that have taken off in the last few months are digital art, not physical products, but digital. And artists and their patrons have piled in hundreds of millions from, I don't know if it's hundreds of millions, but it's at least millions, even like tens of millions at the very least. Even the creator of Rick and Morty did a charity NFT auction where he drew some very basic drawings, somewhat based on his cartoon Rick and Morty, and some of the prices that some of these went for was crazy. Logan Paul followed suit by uh, selling these NFTs, these digital trading cards of him, um, along with his booster boxes. And that was so successful. He sold them for a couple $1 million that he now, as a follow up to the live stream, has sold some more. There's basically a black matte, gold, silver, and common version, based on the Pokemon format, and the black has 3 copies, I believe. The gold has like 1,000 or 100 or so, and then the silver has 10,000, something like that. But they're limited quality, and the point is, as you can see, they've already completely sold out. So are NFTs a scam? Are NFTs something that's the next big thing? I would definitely be very cautious of them. I know it's very shocking and even intriguing to me that people, 1,000 plus people have spent $1,000 plus in a very short amount of time buying what's digital art. And so, um, while there is definitely a lot of demand in this market, it can definitely go bye-bye very quickly. I would personally recommend that if you ever get into this, you do not put in a devastating amount of money. Put in a tiny, small amount only, nothing that you cannot uh, bear to lose. If you lose it, which you should expect to lose it, you know, you're not phased at all because that portion of money wasn't impactful enough. Why do I say this? Well, I think there's a lot of hype behind this, and apparently there's a lot of people with millions of dollars who have bought into this hype, and they're so enamored about this new tech and new speculative asset that they've just plowed in money. Maybe they have billions of dollars. I don't know. Maybe that's why. Um, but here's the rub and the issue that I've not seen anyone really talk about. All I've heard about these is these are going to the moon. These are going to be the next big thing. All positive things, which is actually a big warning flag. How come no one has ever voiced anything negative? I mean, I've seen one negative video by Z&G Emporium about it. Other than that, fairly positive, optimistic. Think about this. What they're buying here is simply the unfakeable, unaltered proof that they own this digital animated art here. And is that really that valuable? Do people cover that so much, that the bragging rights that you own this thing, when most people can just right click and save image as? I mean, is it the art itself that you really want, or is it just the bragging rights here? See, look, I could just save the image and it's done. And now I can have this image, I could print it, I could put it up on my computer, I could paint it on my wall. Maybe I do not have the NFT to say that this is verifiably mine, but really does that matter? If you own the physical Mona Lisa, who gives a crap if you don't have the rights to it, you own it still. There's still like a black market to it. And that may be a crappy example. I would never steal something, but that was just an analogy to illustrate the point. That's the first thing I thought of when I thought of these, that I don't think anyone's really considered, which is mind-boggling to me. And so, sure, with a event like this, I mean, one could argue, maybe in 5-10 years, Logan Paul breaking his second ever first edition base booster box was a historic moment, and it's good to show that to your kids and show them, I was part of that historic moment, and here's my completely verifiable NFT to prove that I own this asset. Maybe that's really worth it to you, but probably not. Is this car going to be so valuable that it's mind-boggling? I just doubt it. And so, for me personally, and it's rather shocking that no one's really talked about this way. They're just constantly talking about, I've been on like chat rooms in Clubhouse where they're just, all these experts are just talking about how incredible this thing is and it's going to the moon. They're all talking about digital art. And sure, to an extent that's good, but it really depends on the reputation of the artist, the quality of the art, the history of the art, rather than just, buying random stuff to buy. And I'm not saying this artwork is useless. I mean, it's definitely worth something, but $1,000, maybe $100. I could see that. But $1,000 for something like this, which isn't even physical enough to hold in your hand. I mean, think about that. With something digital, and it's not just Logan Paul stuff I'm picking on. There's let me just be clear here. There's NFTs now for this new thing called Polka Pets, and this isn't the only one. They've like invented dozens, hundreds of these, basically like crappy spin-offs to Pokemon, like Neopets. But instead of selling them to kids, these are adults buying them for some expected return on investment. You know, with Neopets at least, back when I used to play Neopets as a kid, that was something that was mostly just for kids. You collected them. You didn't have to pay real money for them. You just kind of, played this game, and then you collected more and more of these digital things. And, I think that if there is any value in NFTs, I personally think, again, controversial opinion, rare opinion, but the physical assets you would own with the NFT are more valuable than the digital ones. I mean, think about what would really make an NFT pop. I mean, I think at the end of the day, it's nothing more than maybe the best form of ownership rights, like a deed to a house. But you know, the deed to a house at the end of the day is just a piece of paper. Like maybe they're putting too much value on that, and so rather than going crazy, apparently there's, who knows, people with a lot of money just splurging on all this stuff and buying Polka Pets or a 3-card booster pack NFT of Polka Pets. Which, by the way, I think the first ever NFT of a digital pet, um, it already tells a good story of what will potentially happen to a lot of NFTs. It went high, 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 and then it crashed, just like Beanie Babies did 20 years ago. The first ever NFT, I can't remember the name for it, but I did some research on it. I think the most expensive one ended up selling for $60,000. But since then, the prices have really crashed down. It was called Crypto Kitties, and they were basically different variations of digital kitten cats. Once again, I think the kind of speculative market, obviously, these are not kids playing on these. These are adults, because kids do not have $60,000 to spend on this. So here it is, CryptoKitties, the first ever digital pet NFT, and you got these unique ones with some designer they hired to draw each unique kitten, and if you bought it, you alone own the rights to that cat. In theory, right? I mean, what's stopping me or millions of others from just copying and pasting this cat, printing it out, and I get all the utility, the benefits of that over another person? I mean, think about it. Most people buy art to hang on their walls. Some of them buy it to admire. Some of them buy it to, say that they're the only person who owns it. But I believe that people are highly, highly overweighing the art in it of itself. And there's tons of different NFT art that's just ridiculous to me, at least. People spending hundreds of thousands of dollars on some new and upcoming artist drawing these things. The artist is really the person committing some highway robbery here, and I commend them for that. I would get in on that opportunity too if I was the designer, the Photoshop artist, the painter. They're making a lot from this. Even some new and upcoming artists. Just the other day, I was on a Clubhouse chat room, and a 16-year-old joined the chat, and she revealed some shocking numbers about the amount of revenue in cryptocurrency that she's earned from her drawings and then selling them as NFTs. This is a 16-year-old who's making more money than some people do in, you know, a couple years. So with these, at least, again, very speculative thing. That's why I'm definitely not going to be going hard on this. I'm very skeptical and cautious of this, which is the right thing to do in my opinion. I think there's going to be a lot of, uh, you never want to end up like that guy from that teenager from Robin Hood who ended up owing $600,000 in debt because his bet on Robinhood with stocks went the wrong way. You don't want to leverage yourself to these crazy extents. So here's the thing, with digital artwork like this, half, a majority of the utility value is lost because there's very little stopping any user online from copy pasting that, printing it themselves, and hanging it up on their board. So really, it's not that artistic, scenic decoration value that it has. I think some people may not have thought that through and failed to realize that. Really, the true value comes from saying that, hey, I own one of the only, let's say, first edition PSA 10 Charizards in the world. It's the credibility of that. And the confidence of knowing that that certification through the NFT makes it so that my ownership and my faith in that product being genuine is 100%. Therefore, if that is truly the value of it, then it vastly implies that most NFTs of digital art, even physical products, are probably overbiased. This cat, I mean, who cares? This is not a brand. This is not a strong, reputable brand like Pokemon is. With Pokemon, you have 25 years of nostalgia, childhood, memories, with your kids, with your family, with your friends. This cat has none of that. Similar to Neopets. I mean, Neopets has a little bit of nostalgia, but similar to all these random new pet things, Poke Pets, that they're pulling out. And they're betting too heavily on this speculative digital thing versus actually building a real brand, a real product, a real piece of artwork that wows people, that amazes people, that delivers on its own, regardless of if it has an NFT or not. Therefore, if there was a valuable NFT, I would so much rather have it attached to something of great stature, like a first edition base set Charizard or Venusaur, versus Kylin Flashfire. And no disrespect to Pokepets or whatever this thing is. I'm not trying to be rude, but I'm trying to make a point. They're trying to build a brand, a new set of monsters that are collectible from scratch, but they're not the first, second, third, 10th, or 100th company to do this. And so in the long run, I'm talking 10, 20 years down the line, do I see Pokepets or CryptoKitties really taking off like a Pokemon or even a Yu-Gi-Oh or baseball cards would, or I mean even get out of the card market like a Munch or Mona Lisa or a Da Vinci? No, not even close. Um, so I wouldn't say NFTs are useless. I would keep my eyes open if someone offered an NFT to something like a Mona Lisa or a Starry Night painting. Um, it's definitely something that's worth keeping an eye on for the next 100 years because it may change the market 100, 200 years from now, because, you know, there's going to be a lot less. It could bleed into the, fine art market and lead to a lot less petty theft of valuable artwork because you don't have the NFT attached. I mean, that's another thing. What if someone steals the physical painting? One person has a physical painting, one person has the NFT. Do they split off? I mean, you may still own it based on your rights and so forth. But who cares? That guy still has the painting, man. Maybe I think the painting's still going to be a value. I mean, would I rather have the NFT of the Mona Lisa or the Mona Lisa itself? Think about it. Or the Last Supper. So, who cares if you have the rights of it? I still own it. I'll sell it on a black market. Someone's going to buy it. So that's another thing, you know. So that's what I understand NFTs now, and we'll see where it goes. Gary Vaynerchuk's talking about it. Noah Kagan's talking about it. A lot of entrepreneurs are talking about it. You got the Poker Pets going, and a lot of people just spent a lot of money on this 3-second GIF, animated GIF. Was that worth it? Was it really for the picture itself, or was it for the event, the bragging rights? Probably the latter. Or maybe the speculative bubble of, oh man, this is going to go to the moon. I'm going to make more money when I sell this. And so, does this mean that it's going to go bad, that it's going to plateau? No, I think even if in the long run this is pure crap, if there's enough speculative hysteria and hype, fools will rush in, fools will drive up the price as long as there's another fool who wants to spend more than the previous one on it. Then it would keep rising and rising until eventually, when the time comes and the real value of this asset has to, dance the dance, walk the walk, face the music, then prices may crash. And that may not happen for the next year or 2 years or 5 or 10 years. It all depends on the specific asset, whether we're talking a polka pet or a Neopet. So let me know what you think. Did you ever play Neopets as a kid? I remember I used to play this as a kid, and then I got hacked. And my suspicion was one of my friends hacked me. But yeah, I remember I used to play Neopets, and a lot of the games I used to play as a kid, now they've all come to mobile. I used to play MapleStory and RuneScape. They've already built mobile versions of that. And it seems like from here, they now are building a mobile version. Okay, a mobile-friendly website version. Okay, that's not the same thing. We need an app here. But I remember I used to play Neopets as a kid. It was kind of fun. You played these games, earned these coins, and with the coins you earned, you could purchase different pets and accessories for your pets. And I was never that good at it. There was definitely some crazy people who had millions of coins. I don't know how they got it. So there you have it. There's NFTs, crypto petties and stuff like that. Just a little fun thing I wanted to talk about. Hopefully nobody too serious or negative or critical gets in the comments. Usually the people who are like that are already very invested in this financially. So of course their emotions have to follow that, even if logic goes another way, because they're already invested. It's that personal bias. So I know it's a kind of a random video, but oh yeah, this gets even crazier. So not only is he selling these digital gifts of the NFTs, but he's also sold out of essentially what these are clips of his stream. We're talking 10-second to 2 or 3 minute clips of his stream. Certain moments during his live stream of opening Pokemon cards that were more momentous, you could say. I'm play a little bit of this one so you can get an idea.
Poliwag Raichu!
Okay.
Congrats! 2 holographic pulls. Poliwag.
That's all it is. This 6-second clip of him pulling not even a Charizard, Venusaur, Blastoise, Alakazam, Chansey, but a Raichu that was sold out for $5,000. And here's the thing, what's stopping me from just downloading this clip and using it myself? So with this, you must assume that the purchaser knew the value was not in the actual video clip. Because the video clip itself of this guy, Logan pulling a Raichu for first Sergio, that's something that anyone can clip, download, and render themselves. Not everyone, but if you have basic video editing capabilities, you can basically get an exact replica of this by taking the raw live stream and cutting it yourself, or just downloading this clip here. I mean, it's embedded on a web page. If you know how to download off web pages, which isn't hard to do, you can get it. So really, why would someone pay $5,000, and not just once, but seems like 12 times? So right there on its own, he's made what's that, 12 times. Oh, these prices climb up as well. So let's just say average of $10,000. 120K. He made 120K selling web clips of his live stream in an instant. I mean, these sold out lightning speed. I mean, I'm recording this not even 24 hours since his live stream happened. It's ridiculous. And so what is the actual value that they're purchasing? Let me ask you. And so the biggest sale was a video clip of him pulling a Charizard for $20,000. Not even the first Charizard he pulled that live stream, the second. And this sold out. And so let's read the description here. You get total mint of 3 NFTs for this moment. This product represents digital ownership of this NFT video of this moment only. This does not represent, so he's already starting to talk about what it does not represent. Does not represent ownership in a card, a physical asset, or the YouTube video. So basically, sorry dude, he still owns the live stream video of him opening these packs. And sorry, you don't own the physical card that he pulled. And you also do not own anything physical. You own digital ownership in this video. And I think it's ridiculous. I think some fools have rushed in. But are they really fools if they have so much money to spend? I think sometimes you can be. I see it all the time. I've read so many books by millionaires. Some of them, they make their money in one area, like let's say the oil industry. Then their ego gets big. They think they're good at everything. So then they take some of their money they make and they end up investing and losing it. Sometimes a lot of it. I mean, James Altucher lost all of it in some other industry. It was really bad. I mean, he had multi-millions, took it all, invested in tech stocks, lost it all in the tech bubble, couldn't even afford his rent. His family had hospital bills he couldn't pay. His children had to move to a inner city. It wasn't inner city. It was like out of the city. It was a horrible situation. You could look it up on James Altucher's website or his blog. But maybe that's going on here. Maybe someone got rich in one area, so they're like, NFTs are the next big thing. That's how I'm going to make $10 million. They pour it into this thing. They decide to buy ownership in a video clip. And they think, one day they're going to be able to sell this video clip to someone else for more money. Or they think, one day they're going to be able to show off that they own digital rights to this video clip. And that person is going to be impressed. Maybe that person's their child or grandchild or future spouse. I don't know. I'm just kind of flabbergasted because no offense, but I personally would not be impressed or would want to buy this video clip from someone who paid 20,000 for it. I mean, I wouldn't pay a cent. I could just go to the live stream itself, download it, render it, cut it up with Sony Vegas, and then I'd have the same video clip, and I wouldn't have to pay anything for it. In fact, I could just download it off this webpage if I wanted to. So apparently I'm probably missing something here that everyone else understands, or maybe not. Items in this collection represent the most important moments. Each item from the list entitles the buyer to the following perks. Signed first edition energy card. Maverick Club membership. First buyer rights for future NFTs or Logan's next fight. Logan Paul Spirit Guide Polka Pet card. Whew. So energy cards are like the cheapest cards of the first edition base set. Polka Pets, you've heard what I said about them. They may see a rise in the next 1 to 2 years, but 5 years from now, first buyer rights for the NFTs of Logan's next fight. That might be worth something. I don't know. It all depends on how he does and against his fight against Floyd Mayweather. Maverick Club membership. So that's like his discount membership to his clothing brand. So really, I doubt the buyer of this wanted it for any of these like small perks. He probably didn't want it for the physical ownership because you don't get any physical ownership or rights to his YouTube video or any affiliation to Nintendo, a Pokemon company. So it's just flabbergasting to me. I think another issue is a lot of smart people fall claim to this bias of just I guess you can call it like commitment and consistency bias or sunken costs bias. But essentially, when you've already invested a lot into something, money or otherwise, you just can't help but like be biased towards rationalizing why it was worth it, and even against sometimes defying deafening logic. In this case, I wouldn't say it's deafening logic, but there's some logic there. You just keep arguing against it. Same thing with like the Bitcoin people. They're just like, oh, this is going to the moon because of X, Y, Z, ZD. But I think I'm a huge fan of Warren Buffett and his long-term, timeless investment approach, and that's what I think. I think he's not a fan of crypto. I'm not a fan. His argument makes sense. It's a commodity at the end of the day, and he likes brands and assets in the form of businesses that generate constantly. So there you have it. Still very mind baffling to me, and I know some of it is faulty rationalizing, because I had a conversation with someone who was in the similar cycle when a month or so ago, Pokemon did a partnership with McDonald's and General Mills, and they had these cards and cereals and Happy Meals. This guy went to a grocery store, unloaded and bought like 10 cereals, cleared out the whole aisle, and he posted a video of it on his TikTok. All the comments were negative. Or not all, a lot of them were negative because they saw him as a scalper, and they didn't believe he had a legit investment. So instead of just hopping on the bandwagon of, hey, I try to have a serious conversation with him, and I was asking, why do you think these cards? Why are you buying all these cards? Are they for yourself? Are they for others? Really wanted to get his full perspective and story. Turns out he thought they were going to go to the moon. He thought that they would be extremely valuable one day, so he found it right to kind of clear those things so that other kids wouldn't have them. And despite the hate, he continued through with it because there's a lot of parents and families who wanted those cards for their children. And I, I had a sense that he probably wasn't too strong on the economics of the situation. And I'm definitely not an expert. I've definitely um, bought some cars that didn't go up in value, but I didn't know enough about supply and demand. And I asked him, "You do know that there's hundreds of thousands of these, maybe even millions, being printed across the country. Don't you realize that the supply is much higher than any of the promos, uh, the typical promos that drive a value?" And he's like, "Yeah, but Pokemon promos always go to the moon." And I was like, "Can you give specifics? Because as far as American promos go, American Pokemon card promos, a lot of them don't always go to the moon. There's some from 5, 10 years ago that are still priced very modestly." And he was like, "Oh, well, I don't have any real research on it." And yeah, I was referring to Japanese promos. They usually go very high in price. And you could just tell, like each time he responded, like he really didn't do his research. He just assumed, yeah, they're just gonna go up, 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 which really wasn't the case. So rather tragic. I assume some of that's happening here from people who have a lot of money but aren't doing their due diligence, which is kind of scary. Um, as a business person, you may want to be on the other side of that. You want to be the Logan Paul selling these, not the buyer of these. So that's incredible. He's definitely making some moves here. He's on the right side of it for sure. And I'm really curious. Like, does all this money go straight to him? If so, maybe the best business ever. Think about it. The margins on this are like close to 90%. You have no inventory, you have no overhead, you have nothing. You put this video clip up, you don't even have to send him the video file because it's not the video they own. It's just, you know, I mean, there's probably some processing fee to create the NFT, but still, I mean, pennies on the dollar. Incredible thing. I mean, he probably has to split it with Bond Lee, the partner, but it is quite bonkers. I mean, I don't know. I think there's definitely some opportunity in this, but it's really about really understanding it and either being the guy selling to the fools and getting out before a crash, or being one of the painters or artists selling this. So I don't know. Still have a lot more to learn about these things, but thanks for watching.